Imagine waking up one day convinced that you alone hold the power to prevent devastating earthquakes. But there's a catch. The price of this power is human life. This isn't the plot of a twisted superhero movie. It's the chilling reality of Herbert Mullin's deranged mind. In the early 1970s, California trembled not just from seismic activity, but from the actions of a man who believed murder could save the world. Herbert Mullin's story begins in Santa Cruz, California, a picturesque coastal town known for its laid-back surfer vibe and stunning natural beauty. But beneath this idyllic surface, a disturbing series of events was about to unfold. Mullin, a young man with a history of mental health issues, became fixated on the idea that California was on the brink of a catastrophic earthquake. This wasn't just any earthquake in his mind, it was the big one that would send much of the state tumbling into the Pacific Ocean. As his delusions intensified, Mullin developed a bizarre and terrifying logic. He believed that human sacrifices were necessary to appease the angry earth and prevent this impending disaster. In his twisted reasoning, by taking lives, he was actually saving countless others from a gruesome fate. This warped savior complex would drive him to commit a series of brutal murders that would shock the community and leave investigators baffled. Mullin's killing spree began in October 1972. His first victim was a homeless man he encountered on a mountain road. Mullin claimed he heard the man's thoughts telepathically, believing him to be Jonah from the Bible, asking to be sacrificed. This initial act of violence opened the floodgates, and over the next 4 months, Mullin would claim the lives of 12 more innocent people. The victims ranged from hitchhikers to a priest in a confessional, each murder more brazen than the last. Mullin's methods varied. Some victims were shot, others stabbed, and one family was even bludgeoned to death in their home. The seemingly random nature of the killings left the community in a state of panic. No one felt safe, and the police were struggling to connect the dots between these seemingly unrelated crimes. What made Mullin's case particularly chilling was his ability to appear normal between his acts of violence. He wasn't the stereotypical loner or outcast often associated with serial killers. Mullin had friends, held jobs, and even maintained relationships. This facade of normalcy made his crimes all the more terrifying and difficult to solve. As the body count rose, so did the pressure on law enforcement to catch the killer. The breakthrough came in February 1973, when Mullin made a crucial mistake. After shooting a man in broad daylight on a busy street, witnesses were able to provide a description of both Mullin and his car. This led to his arrest just days later, bringing an end to his 4-month reign of terror. During his interrogation, the full extent of Mullin's delusions came to light. He spoke candidly about his belief in earthquake prevention through human sacrifice, citing historical examples and pseudoscientific theories to support his claims. To the detectives, it was clear they were dealing with a deeply disturbed individual, but one who was also eerily articulate about his motivations. The trial of Herbert Mullin became a media sensation, not just for the brutality of his crimes, but for the insight it provided into the mind of a killer driven by delusion. Psychiatric experts debated the extent of his mental illness, while prosecutors painted a picture of a calculating murderer who used his beliefs as an excuse for his actions. In the end, Mullin was found guilty of 10 counts of murder and sentenced to life in prison. The verdict brought a sense of closure to the community, but it also raised uncomfortable questions about mental health, the criminal justice system, and the fine line between delusion and evil. Today, Herbert Mullin's case remains a subject of fascination for criminologists and psychologists alike. It serves as a stark reminder of the devastating impact untreated mental illness can have, not just on the individual, but on entire communities. The story also highlights the challenges faced by law enforcement and the justice system when dealing with crimes motivated by severe delusions. As we look back on this dark chapter in California's history, it's important to consider the broader implications. How do we as a society balance the need for public safety with compassion for those struggling with mental illness? What can be done to identify and help individuals before their delusions lead to violence? These are questions that continue to resonate today as we grapple with similar issues in our modern world. The case of Herbert Mullin serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us of the importance of mental health awareness and the need for early intervention. It's a story that forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about the human mind and the extremes to which it can be pushed by unchecked delusions. In the end, no earthquakes were prevented by Mullin's actions. The only tremors felt were those of fear and grief that rippled through the community in the wake of his crimes. As we reflect on this tragic episode, we're left to wonder how many lives could have been saved if Mullin had received the help he so desperately needed before his delusions took control. The story of Herbert Mullin is more than just a true crime narrative. It's a stark reminder of the fragility of the human mind and the devastating consequences when reality becomes distorted. It challenges us to look beyond the surface, to recognize the signs of mental distress in those around us, and to act with compassion and urgency before tragedy strikes. As we close this dark chapter of California's history, let's carry forward the lessons learned. Let's strive for a world where mental health is prioritized, where help is readily available, and where the tremors we feel are not those of fear, but of positive change rippling through our communities. Because in the end, the real power to prevent disaster lies not in sacrifice, but in understanding, compassion, and timely intervention.